Okay, welcome everyone to today's Q&A. It's Friday, June 27th, and I'm excited to have Jessica joining us today. Jessica's new to our group, and she's one of my newest website clients and has the most, I'm a has one of the most beautiful websites that we just launched. I know you've gotten a lot of positive feedback, and Jessica, I will say, I always post my new website launches sometimes right away, sometimes a few weeks later. And your website has gotten the most response out of, I think, any that I've ever posted. Even
Really?
Facebook tells me that because it's just from your followers commenting on it. And then I've shared it and on LinkedIn and everything. Yeah. You did such a wonderful job. And like I said, the 75% of having that type of outcome is the visuals. Having your branding photos and us able to really match your branding colors to your photos. It just gives you that beautiful, cohesive, professional look. And you did all the work with the copy. And so that just pulled it all together. But visuals is the first thing people see. They do not read every word, but they look at every picture. That's all I can say. They see the whole site visually. And so when it comes together like that, it entices them to actually read more as well. So you did a great job. I'm so proud of you. It was
You did a great I am so happy with the website. Yeah, it's perfect and it just looks like me and it feels like me.
so that just makes me happy, happy, happy. Okay. Any questions that you have that you want to dive in today?
Yeah, so now that I have this really good website and I want people to be on it, I want to generate traffic to it. And I've seen you are someone that you've got these different Facebook groups and you're on LinkedIn and you've got your YouTube channel and how do you go about either protecting your time or budgeting your time? It sounds like hard work, but you probably make it smart work. And I just want to learn from you.
I love that question. And people have been around with me with Dreamtime for a little while, always know this answer. I always say everything I learned about marketing, a private practice, or a business, I learned from a lawyer. And so years back, I worked for an estate planning and elder law attorney, and she taught me something called time template that lawyers are taught. And it's, I don't know the name of the book, but it's all of this is in chapter 5. And so you literally you make a list of all the things you want to do in a week as part of your regular tasks. So whether it is client intake, one-on-one like networking, meetups with a potential referral source or a networking group, your marketing, lunch, very important that we stop and give ourselves nutrition and maybe a little walk or something during the day. And you literally map that out into what day that happens and what time, and you stick to it. I'll tell you what my time template is, and then I'll give you an idea of if you're a new practice, how you can implement it as well. Because people new to private practice will completely overwhelm themselves by having Monday through Friday available anytime a client wants to come, and then you're sitting with all this empty time in between and completely stressing and thinking I'm not doing enough. You haven't done enough to fill your Monday through Friday, so you don't need to have Monday through Friday hours. You start with, say, like Tuesdays and Thursdays only from this time to this time. That's how hairstylists also start. I learned that from hairstylists. They don't just open, okay, my salon's open. I'm open Monday through Friday. When do you want to come? No, they tell you this is when I'm available, and people who want to work with you will pick those times, period. Also learned that from the attorney that I work for. You give people 2 times, and this is when I'm available. Tuesday at whatever time or Thursday at this, they will pick one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you call the dentist or you need to go to the doctor, they don't say, oh, the calendar's open. When do you want to come? No, because they would have so much wasted time. So my time template is I do client work only on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, it's client work. I'm focused on that. I do not leave my house. I eat lunch at home. Mondays and Fridays, I call Mondays my me days. Those are days for me. Any personal appointments that I have to schedule, I will do them on a Monday or a Friday. It's also when Mondays for marketing. So like after any appointments or whatever, then I know that I have a Monday afternoon to work on my marketing. So that's built into my week. So it's like working on your business first, because if you don't market your business, you will never grow your business. So I like the idea of just starting the week off with knowing I put the time into my business, and then the rest of the week I can focus on my clients. And then Fridays, I call Flex Fridays. I don't schedule like client calls or anything on Fridays unless I'm working with a website client. That's my only exception when we're like in that 2-week period. If I'm finished your website and you're ready, we've got your edits and everything, and maybe we need to jump on a call, that is strictly for my div website clients only. So I call that Flex Fridays, where just if something extra comes up that is important that I tend to, it's available to do that. It's also if I want to go to lunch with either a friend or a local colleague or a referral partner, I only do that on Fridays. It's non-negotiable. Fridays only. And I've done that for 5 years, and it works. Nobody says, I can't go to lunch on Fridays. I can only go on Tuesdays. It always works out. The one time I scheduled on a Wednesday because another social work colleague said, really can only go on Wednesday. I'm like, okay, so we'll go Wednesday at 12. At 12:15, my phone rang. She's, hi, I'm here. I'm checking on you. I'm like, this is why I don't do lunch in the middle of the week. My brain is programmed lunches on Fridays, clients only, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I completely forgot about her, even though it was on my calendar, because my brain is just trained to my time template. And that's how I do it. And then now there may be times when, if there's an emergency or something urgent comes up, of course, I don't say, oh, I can only wait till such and such a day. But for the most part, like 90% of my time, it's pre-scheduled for me and it works. So that's how I do it. Most people go into private practice because they want time flexibility as well. They want to work for themselves and enjoy some of that. But if you're working 7 in the morning till 7 at night, 12-hour days, and you don't have time to take care of yourself or pick your kids up from school or go to dinner with your spouse, you can just as soon go work for somebody else and let them have all the headache.
So I do have some time that I protect for marketing until I book a client there, which I'm definitely gonna try to actually protect that time. But when you have your marketing time, like how do you work off of like a list or an order of things? Or are you just like responding to messages, or how do you create things and post them on your different?
Because I've been at this for a while, now I know what marketing works for me. So when you're first getting started, you're kind of trying different things. But one mistake we make is we try to do all the things, which burns us out. And you're not going to see results from doing all the things because you can't keep up with all the things.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is, first of all, you need to have your niche, and which you do. You know exactly who you're working with and who you're talking to, and that's it. So anytime you go to create emails or a flyer or a social media post, you know who you're talking to and what you're offering. Sometimes early in practice, people aren't real clear and they're offering kind of lots of services to whoever wants them. That makes marketing really, really hard. And people are scared to niche down because they're like, yeah, but I might not book enough people because I'm only doing 1 or 2 things for this person, this particular client group. That actually fills your practice faster. Like niching down the way you did and the way I did actually gets you more clients faster, because now it's so easy for you to be known for one thing.
Okay.
And so people remember you. And so they don't even have to remember all the different services you offer. It's just when someone mentions, like in your case, a couple that's considering infertility treatment and they're struggling with it, they're like, call Jessica. 'Cause that's all they have to remember is that's what Jessica does. Just call Jessica. They don't have to remember all the different services or the ways you help. They just need to connect you with that pain point or need, period. And so niching really helps with that and helps your marketing. So having your niche, then having your website, which you have, because that's the hub of business today. even if you're a local business, like a boutique or a restaurant or a bakery, people still like to go online and see what you have before deciding if they're going to spend the time to drive over there.
Yeah.
Having a website is so important no matter what type of your business. And then once you have your niche in your website, then to start networking, letting your colleagues and peers know what you're doing, reaching out to them. And then after that, I think it's important to have an email list. Like this is how I prioritize it. Your niche, your website, and then networking, letting people know. Then even before hopping on social media, which I know is hard because social media is like the path to least resistant. Like it's easy to create your page and do all that, and that's fine. But having an email marketing list means you can keep in touch with everybody anytime you want to on your own terms and time frame. You can't do that with social media. Not everybody's on social media. Even if they are, they don't always check it. And even if they follow your page, the algorithms have changed so much. They're not even pushing your content to your followers. They took this from TikTok. They're pushing it out to other people who like the types of things that you talk about. So your own followers may not see what you're talking, your post. Sorry, let me turn my phone off. So when you have your email list, which I also learned from the same attorney, that email list is golden. So anytime we went to a networking meeting or met with a colleague or something, we would say, hey, we have a monthly newsletter that we send out. Would you like me to add you to the list? Everybody says yes. I've never had anybody say no, to keep in touch. And now you have something like I just send mine out once a month. And it's just that little touch point to help you stay in front of other people.
Yeah.
And having an email marketing list is especially helpful for people who are introverts.
Yep.
And for people who don't want to be on social media. You really never have to be on social media if you don't want to. So having that email list that you can send out either weekly, monthly, whatever you prefer, something to the people who are interested in your practice and referring to you and staying up to date is golden. And then after that, I say, choose what you love. If you love social media, 1 or 2 platforms. Don't try to do all of them because it's time consuming to create all the content and be all the places because you have to interact with it. If you don't interact with your content, posting and engaging, then that's going to affect your results. If you like to write, having a blog on your website is golden. Not only is that going to continually increase your website's SEO, in fact, I would say I would like to see clients focus on having a blog or a YouTube channel before putting time into social media. Because if you have the blog or the YouTube channel, that's the next best step up for your SEO and growing your authority. And then now that you have those blog articles or those YouTube videos, that's the content for your social media.
And that's what I can turn into a newsletter.
You just repurpose all that. And so I do with my newsletter. If there's a blog article that I've written, I take a snippet of it and turn that into a short article for my newsletter with a button to click. Sometimes in like my newsletter or my blog articles are often generated from a topic or a question or discussion that came up with the client in recent weeks or several times. So I get the content from my actual clients. What are people asking about? Because if this client had this question, then more than likely others do as well. So the same thing in your practice, like what things are coming up in session that you hear very frequently. That's the perfect topics to write about on your blog post and then to share out into social media. So it's just getting the basics down and then deciding what I'm going to focus on. And that's what for me, my Monday afternoons are for. So like my newsletter, I only send it out once a month. That's what's manageable for me that I can commit to and be consistent with.
I definitely couldn't do more than that.
Yeah. And to me, that's enough because if I'm getting weekly emails and we all get weekly emails from you subscribe to a newsletter and now you're getting emails every week, you don't have time to read all of them. and then you just get numb to them and you just don't open any of them. So that's what works for me. And I think for my clients, I have a very high open rate, 65 to 70+% on my monthly newsletters, which is very high.
Are you using a program to send them out and monitor that?
I use MailerLite. It is free for up to 1,000 subscribers.
Okay.
And it integrates with Squarespace. So like with your Squarespace website, we can easily integrate that where you can have a little newsletter subscription button on your website that we pop in there through Squarespace. We get a little code from your MailerLite account, put it in the back end, and now anytime someone subscribes to your newsletter via your website, they're automatically added to your MailerLite subscription list. It also lets you create landing pages. If you decide to do a lead magnet, you can create a little sign up for lead magnets and things like that.
And so that's like a worksheet, right? Or like
a freebie or a handout.
Yeah.
That is to grow your email list.
Yep.
And so you can do that through MailerLite. So like the handout, you can easily create a handout or a worksheet in Canva, save it to a PDF, and then you can, now you have a little link, and like after they fill out your little landing page, yes, I want the freebie, they give you your address, and then the success page comes up and it has the little link for them to click on and download.
Okay. Yeah, because I have been in my head like starting to write. I want to do a little mental health starter kit for IVF and have that be like my freebie. I just need to maybe prioritize that to help me get emails to then help me do a newsletter.
So like some action steps for you, because you have your website, all that's in place, would be like to create, if you want to use MailerLite, create your MailerLite account. And then in MailerLite, you can set up just like your basic monthly newsletter group. We can insert that on your website, subscribe for monthly newsletter on whatever you want it to be. And so those people automatically go there and you'll have that. And then you can next create your lead magnet in there and you'll assign that to its own group. If you want to call it lead magnet, whatever group, or if you just want them to go straight to your regular newsletter group. The one thing about a lead magnet, why I suggest that it be its separate group, is because now you want to send them some follow-up emails to that topic and nurture them towards eventually wanting to schedule your services, which that's a very different communication than a monthly newsletter.
Yeah.
You finish that little series and it might be maybe 5 follow-up emails specific to that topic. And there's like a little formula you follow. After that, then you just bump them to your regular monthly newsletter. And then they just start getting that reminder because they just might not be ready yet. But that way they continue to be reminded of your services. So yeah, there's so much to digital marketing and online marketing. And that's just a little micro piece of it. And it can be a lot. It's a lot for someone. We go to graduate school, we get degrees, we get trained to do therapy, counseling, community work, whatever. But we're not talking business. We're not marketing. And yesterday's marketing is completely different from today's marketing. And today's marketing will change drastically in a year. It's just so fast moving. It's so fast moving. So
that was so helpful. I'm going to actually start listening to me protecting time instead of writing it in my calendar, but then not doing it. And then I'll definitely set up a MailerLite account and start creating my freebie, because I should stop thinking about it and just do it. Doesn't have to be perfect.
And you can refine it as time goes on. I mean, I have done the same thing with my service, whether it's my services or even my monthly newsletter. It looks different today than it did when I first started. It just evolves. You see what people respond to. I am wordy. I'm long-winded. My newsletters will just always be long. That is just me. Anybody who knows me knows Hope has a lot to say. So just scroll to what you want. It always starts off like with the main article. And then because I'm an information and resource junkie, I cannot help it. I just like to add a few little resources, some tips and tools, or like what's new in marketing news or trending because I just can't help but share. It's there if you want it, or just move on. And so that's what fulfills me, knowing that I'm taking one opportunity a month to be able to share some different types of information that can be helpful, and I'm giving value to clients without bombarding them week after week after week. And also appreciating that not everybody's on social media. Not everybody sees my social media posts. Sometimes in my newsletter, I'm putting the same information I put on Facebook, but not everybody's on Facebook. If I have a Facebook post that gets a lot of engagement, I know a lot of people that meant a lot to people, it was valuable. I'll make note of that and put it in like my next newsletter as a little something. And it is okay if you use the same content on multiple platforms because everybody doesn't see everything you do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's also okay to reuse content that you've used 6 months ago or 2 years ago because you always have new people on your list or new people on your social pages, and even the people who've been with you the whole time haven't seen everything you've put out. So that's another thing too, is knowing that you don't have to constantly be creating new content every time. Repurposing content is the best thing you can do, not only for your marketing, but for your sanity and for your time.
That's the working smart part. I feel like because I have a lot of blogs, so I'm sure I can turn that into some newsletters, Instagram.
Yes, you with the amount of blogs you have years worth of content
Wow.
because each little blog article, each section is a piece of content.
Yeah. Okay. I need to learn how to.
So let's say, for example, okay, do you want to do a live demo?
Yes.
Okay, let me pull up your website. Your beautiful new website. Okay, so let's go to your blog. Let's go to something like this. When the journey ends without a baby, finding peace after IVF and infertility. So one thing you can do is you can share this blog post alone as a social media post. And you can just take this summary right here, put it into Chat GPT and say, I want to share this blog post. Help me create a caption for this blog post I want to share, optimized for Facebook, optimized for LinkedIn, optimized for Instagram. The caption will look different for each one
Wow.
because each platform, people expect different things. Like on Instagram, it's going to be really short. On Facebook, it could be a little longer. On Instagram, it's more thought leadership or more insightful. And so from this, and then you also give ChatGPT, how about we just do it? Okay, I'm going to say this. I'll just give you a demo with ChatGPT as well. Okay. Help me create a social media post for this.
I would say probably Instagram or LinkedIn. That's what I'm trying to put more effort into.
What? Help me create a social media post to share this blog article. Target audience is women experiencing infertility and loss. Write it at a reading level using this is what I always say, a warm, friendly, empathetic, encouraging tone.
Holy moly.
Avoid jargon and sounding like AI. Use a And I always like to say encouraging tone, like talking to a friend. I put this in everything. Avoid sounding AI. Give me a give me copy optimized for, and I'll just start with one. So which one do you want to start with?
I'll do Instagram.
Instagram. Do you like emojis or no emojis? Because it likes to put emojis, and if I don't want emojis, I'll say without emojis.
Oh,
Up to you. It's your preference, your audience. We can see what he does. Okay.
okay.
All right. It even gives you hashtags. But by the way, you don't need hashtags on Instagram anymore at all. Because it can read all of the. But if you have a few ones that you like to have just for emphasis, and then you can take this and you can see how much it sounds like you. You can tweak it. If you think it's too long, you can say, make it shorter. And of course, it knows because we said Instagram, read the blog, link in bio. It knows Instagram. That's the only way you can read it.
That's so cool.
Yes. And so would you like a version for stories or do you want to tweak it more? Okay, watch it. Okay. Give me a version for stories. Because in stories, you can add the link. So you can create like little individual pictures that you, oh my God, the story. And then you can have the link in the last one. Or if you want to use each of these, you could also make a carousel, like Instagram carousel, where the slides would be, this would be on the first one, the second one, the third one. And you could still say link in bio. Okay, now let's say, great. Give me copy for my, and I'm going to say, I always say Facebook business page because that's a different audience or tone than a personal page. You can see it's written differently than it's written for Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like a shorter version?
I'm absolutely blown away right now.
A shorter. I always like to see what it says in a shorter version or a little snippet. Because sometimes shorter is all that you need. And it gives you all the little emojis and everything. It just gives you the little visuals. And then what I do, I put the blog link there, but I usually use whatever picture I have as my cover picture for the blog article. I just insert that picture as the little cover. That's one thing. Or on Canva, you can create a series of graphics that just promote the blog post itself. You'll often see a new blog post, and then you put like the little title on it, and then use the image from there. There's different ways to do it. If you put just the link, it'll just generate a preview of the blog article with the little picture next to it. So I do different versions just to keep it going. Okay, and let's see if we said, give me a version for LinkedIn. And you see how it's changed the message for who's on LinkedIn?
It's so different.
To professionals.
Yes.
To professional women who are going to have resources for infertility treatment. So LinkedIn very well could be a platform. So you always have to think about your audience and their resources because we both know how expensive infertility treatment is. And when health insurance doesn't cover it, it's going to be people with higher incomes who can continue to go down that path a little longer and pay for additional support and resources like an infertility therapist, a mental health,
Mhm.
a reproductive therapist.
Yeah, it's usually a community that has some more resource or access to resources.
Which
Mhm.
version more geared towards colleagues or referral partners in healthcare and mental health.
Referral partners in healthcare.
And this is what I love about ChatGPT is, to me, it literally acts like an assistant. The more you use it, the more it knows what you're trying to accomplish and who you work with. So this is directed to healthcare and mental health professionals. So you can use it to help craft your emails as well. The same, if you want to write an email to referral partners in healthcare professionals, letting them know about your services or maybe a new service that you've added or something that you're doing differently in your practice. That's another thing I love about MailerLite is you can have unlimited groups. So you can have just your monthly newsletter group. You can have a group for referral partners and healthcare professionals because there's certain things you're only going to want to share with them. That's not going to go out to just your general public newsletter. Now, keep in mind, when we're doing email marketing, we are not targeting client in a way that most of these platforms are not HIPAA compliant. There are some who are. Constant Contact and Access Campaign are HIPAA compliant. But for the most part, it's like throwing a net out to the public and just trying to bring people in. You're not.
Yeah, because I think everybody knows somebody that has gone through some infertility stuff. And so it's
Exactly.
at the beginning, I want somebody to say, oh, wow, you should talk to Jessica.
Exactly. Now, with your lead magnet, it may be that someone who's most likely a potential client is going to download that, but they're not your client yet. You're not asking them to check off any boxes to reveal if they are currently going through infertility or if maybe they're curious for their daughter. And just so in that regard, it's fine that it's not HIPAA compliant as well because you're not collecting any or asking for any protected health information in that as well. So yeah, ChatGPT can really be your best marketing tool.
But yes, and I've heard that, but I am so grateful that you are like demonstrating this because I had no idea what that actually meant or what it could look like. It still felt like a lot of work on my end, but I'm basically just putting in a blog that I've already written.
So I am going to take this and create a link, and I'm going to put it in the chat for you.
And
And
then I get that.
and then you get it.
Oh my God. Wow. I'm gonna save this.
Yeah. And then you want to go through, read each one. This is the most important thing, is to just read each thing and make it sound like you. If it's going on social media or a newsletter, it's not that big of a deal if you copy and paste. If you use it to write blog articles, and you can use it to help you write blog articles, that's when you really want to go through and make sure that you're proofreading it, that you're using like your words and your tone, because Google can detect, oh, wait, that's the same thing it said for so and so and so and so. And if I do use it to help me write blog articles, sometimes I give it all the information. This is what I want to write about. This is important. I tell it what to give me instead of just letting it blindly give me something. And then I run it through Grammarly. Have you ever used Grammarly?
I've heard of it.
Show you.
Is that to make sure it's not plagiarized?
Yes. So Grammarly started off as basically like a spell checker. So say, for example, I'm just going to copy on the screen share. Okay, so I'm just going to take your blog article right here, and I'm going to run it through Grammarly. Okay. Copy. Okay. I'm going to post it into Grammarly. I had the paid subscription. They have different subscriptions, but now it's, to me, it's so funny. Everyone's, oh, don't let AI write everything for you, but every service offers AI writers, including Google. They have their own, Bard. But what I like about it, it has check for AI text and plagiarism. So it will tell you. So here we'll go through just any improvements in writing, because you tell Grammarly what your goal of writing is and what you want. I'm not going to go and correct any of these for you, but check for AI and plagiarism. It's going to run through it. And then anywhere it detects like an AI pattern, oh, this looks like AI wrote it, you just take that little sentence and you tweak it. Now I'm going to take that part and rewrite it, and then now it removes those AI patterns. It's not that Google will not show like blog articles or something that was written with AI. It's just, they want something that is original and not repetitive. So this is how you make it's original, because you're telling it what to write in, your own thoughts and everything. So like right here, this section resembles, it just says common patterns. It's not saying, oh, we think AI wrote this. It just follows an AI pattern. You know, these are your original words. Don't worry about it. That's how I write. But if you did use ChatGPT to write it, then you can say, okay, let me just tweak this a little bit. And then it just goes to text matches. It'll say, oh, these words were found in this article. Okay, I wrote this myself. I didn't copy and paste it from someone else. More than 2 people can use the same phrase, but I might just rephrase it a little. And so that's how I use it. That's like my little marketing toolbox when it comes to content marketing. Social media and blogs is using ChatGPT, Grammarly. I used to use something, I still do use Jasper right here, because Jasper will let me take something like this, ask Jasper, improve the writing, change the tone. I can change the tone. I like to use engaging or conversational, and I'll just rewrite it, and I'll pop that in there, and now it's different. Of course, I read it. Or if I think something is too long.
Oh, so just doing that, it went at the bottom, it said 20% of the text had patterns that resemble AI, and now it's 15. That's so funny, because you used AI to change it, but you can use AI to make something look like it's not AI. And I had no idea that you could do that. Very funny.
To and of course we will want to go back and read it and see that it makes.
Yeah. Now it went down to 10%. Oh my God, this is hacking the system.
This one. Change the tone to conversational. Replace.
Still 10%.
So let's find what it is. Here, let me run it again.
I would say 10%.
The one right here.
If it started with 20%, that also feels like that's not too bad.
Conversation.
5% has pattern.
And then
that's crazy. Yeah. Wow.
We didn't detect it.
Oh my God.
And the other thing I love about Jasper, now I will tell you I pay way too much for Jasper, but I use Jasper every single day for everything, because it lets me edit content.
Yeah.
Here. So let's say I wrote a newsletter. I'm like, oh my gosh, this newsletter introductory paragraph is too long and wordy. It will let me make it shorter. Make shorter. And I can say, make it shorter. I can read it. It does what I can never accomplish, because obviously what I would have written is way too long. And the other thing,
It's the Grammarly that you're doing right now, but you're also using Jasper.
Yeah, so I put it inside Grammarly to do the spell check and all that, and the AI text. And then Jasper, I purchased Jasper, and they have a Google Chrome extension, so I'm able to add it to the top of my website right there and use it right here inside the platform. Now, Jasper itself, it's a marketing. Jasper came out before ChatGPT. I've had Jasper much longer than ChatGPT, and it is AI for marketers. So you can use Jasper to help you write. These are just some of the favorite things. You can use it to write social media posts, speaker bios, email campaigns, just blog posts, Facebook. You can use it to write any and all type of marketing content in any type of form that you can imagine. So that's why I originally got it. This was way before ChatGPT. So I was using AI in my marketing that way. Look, you need an email subject line. It helps you with everything. And so this was the only thing I was paying for. I was paying for Grammarly and this. Now I do pay for ChatGPT because I get more out of it. But it's such a wonderful, wonderful resource.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into the MailerLite ChatGPT. I don't have an account. Like I've just gone in there and given it some prompts.
And they have a free version, so you can get like so many entries per day on the free version with ChatGPT. So just try that. I just found I was using it so much.
Yeah.
I will use it even like with my websites and getting it to help me. Oh, the other thing Jasper does, that little extension, you can highlight something and ask it to repurpose it into an email, repurpose it into a Facebook post, repurpose it into a meta description. So for a website blog, it's incredible. So many uses for it.
Thank you. See, I knew you would have all the answers.
Yeah. So now I pay for tools, and I don't have to pay for a virtual assistant to do these things for me, because I have in the past. I have paid people or agency to do my monthly social media. I would write the blog posts, send it to them, and then they would craft 3 posts a week for me to post from that content. I was paying them X amount of dollars a month. Like, now I pay less a month in these tools and can do it myself, because even though they did it, I always went in and changed it. And because that is kind of me.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, that's good enough, and they move on. And I'm like, no, I'm always changing. I've paid people to write blog posts for me. I've hired copywriters, copywriting companies, and I always end up tweaking it. So paying for the tools, and because I enjoy doing it. That's the other difference. If you don't enjoy doing it, don't do it. Just budget to pay somebody to help with these things. But I enjoy doing it. I come from a marketing background. I like doing the marketing part of my business.
I enjoy learning. So I think this is going to be a fun adventure for me.
I'm so glad you came today, and you had a great question that helped us fill up a whole hour, not only with answering that question about how to organize your time, but then
using AI to not sound like AI is like next level hacking, and I love it.
And then using AI, like your question was, how you decide on what to do with your marketing and the time you have set aside for marketing. And so you can use your current content that you have and use AI to repurpose it and get the most out of that amount of time. Let's say you have 2 hours. Look at how much content you can create.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then, so maybe you create it. Let's say you did it on Monday afternoons. Week 1 of the first Monday of the month, I go into a blog post and I create different content. And then Monday, week 2, now I take it and I go schedule it on my social media. And week 3, I've pop it in my newsletter. You just come up with a system that works for you, that's manageable in that amount of time.
Hey, sorry. Oh, I'll watch the recording of this anyways. But okay, so 1 week you create the content, and then another week you schedule it in.
Yeah. So let's say, okay, you're going to set aside Monday afternoons. Say you only have 2 hours. You don't have 5 hours all day. Say, okay, in these 2 hours, I'm going to take 1 or 2 blog posts, and I'm going to ask AI to help me turn it into social media posts for Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Okay, so now I have all that done. And then that's what I was able to get done in 2 hours. And then next week in my 2 hours, I'm going to go and schedule it, create any graphics that I want to go with it.
Okay.
My scheduler, you can, I think now you can definitely schedule inside Facebook and Instagram now through Meta. I don't know if LinkedIn lets you do that. LinkedIn might let you schedule inside LinkedIn. I really don't use LinkedIn that much, but I use Metricool for my scheduler. I love it, and it lets you like schedule out. The free version lets you schedule, I think, 30 days at a time. So, and so like maybe week 2 is all the scheduling. Then week 3 might be, okay, now I'm going to do my monthly newsletter. And then week 4 might be, okay, now I'm going to write 2 new blog posts and they're published. And then you start over. Week 1, take the blog post. So you can just do what you can in the amount of time that you have that you can be consistent with and let these tools help you.
Yes, you answered all of my questions. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So
Thank you again.
thanks, sweet. All right, I'll talk soon.
Good seeing you. Bye.